welcome to Sit Down for Stand-Up Comedy. I have with me today a Stoke boy called, is it Nikita?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's a bit of a not really a Stoke name. They're usually like more like Pauls and Kieran's.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest with you. It makes no sense. Like, 'cause I think it's a Russian name technically. I've not really looked into it, but I've got like all my parents like. So my mum's like Stoke based. My dad's from Liverpool. The families that go back Stoke, Liverpool. Like, there's no connection outside of the UK, so it's just a bizarre name.
Well, like your
Truth be
parents
told.
hedged the bet in case Russia do win and take us over. You're safe.
Yeah, if it ever does happen, I'm definitely playing on that. I'll adopt the accent and everything.
Yeah, just in case you can't put it like switch into Russian mode. Like I know we don't know a da, but that's about it.
Yeah.
There was,
No, I've not checked any of it. So yeah,
fair enough.
I'd have to swat up on it.
So, how long you been doing comedy for?
About 9, 10 months. Like the first gig was October last year, so however long that dates back to,
Okay,
about 9 months, 10 months.
do the maths. How you finding it?
Yeah, good. Like one thing I do enjoy doing with it is getting out and about. So I've travelled pretty much most of the country by this point, doing gigs here, there, and everywhere. Like I've been down as far as Bristol and Basingstoke, gone as far east as Peterborough. I think I was in Preston last week. It's good to get. I enjoy getting around the country. It's one of the bits I do enjoy. Like for example, with Bristol, place I've always wanted to go but never found a reason to go down there. So it's nice to have a day in Bristol before doing a gig.
Good drink in Bristol as well. Good breweries.
Yeah, definitely.
So, how many
I was
miles do
quite
you reckon
drunk
you've
when I
racked
got
on
on
the
the
car?
stage. Oh, God knows how many miles I've gone on the car. I've gone through a car, put it that way.
I'm a little bit
So
limited
I
at the
do.
moment. I drive a electric Zoe, which was a fucking awful decision because in the winter I get about 48 miles on a charge and about 80 in the summer. So I'm very like limited, but I'm contemplating getting a van to do it, and then also you got a place to sleep after.
Yeah, I know someone else who does it in a van, and it does work out for you if you can do it. Well, I think he lives out his van, if I remember rightly. I can't remember exactly, but it is good to do like that.
Well, I watched I watched your material on YouTube, and you will get tagged in everything. And yeah,
Mm.
I enjoy your stuff. I mean, you go from your name to being asexual. I mean, is that a character you've created, a persona, or do you like base your comedy on like your real life?
Everything I say on stage is based in some form of reality. So, for example, the one about the when I sat around with my uni mates going through pictures of women, that genuinely happened. You then exaggerate it for comic effect, but for the most part, that story is based in reality. So I don't think I've said anything on stage that isn't based on something. Like I'm doing a bit at the minute, which was inspired by a 15-second interaction with a mascot at Edgbaston. I'm spinning that out into 10 minutes because my mind just exaggerates a lot.
Okay, and I've seen you've done like you've done your gong shows, you've done your roast battles,
Mm.
and like your usual your fives, your tens. What's your
Mm.
preference?
I don't know, like 10 minutes is a good time because it's like it allows, because I don't like to tell puns, so to speak. I'm not very good at writing. I prefer like telling stories and adding jokes into them. So having the 10 minutes is quite nice to do. Gong shows, it's just, it is what it is. It's always hit and miss if you ever do them. Like if the crowd doesn't walk up to you immediately, you're screwed on them basically. And roast battles, it's just they're quite easy to do. It is just basically how can you insult someone and see who's funnier at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So like I
I
say,
mean,
I just enjoy doing it.
okay, go on then. I'll give you 30 seconds. Roast me. What would you
Oh,
target?
right.
I'm on stage next to you. What would you gun for straight away? Obviously,
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not thin myself, but there is a bit. You go for the overweight stuff. Um, make references to the glasses, potentially tattoos as well. Like it depends what tattoos are on your arm. I think I've seen,
sir. Anything
and
but the
just go from that.
tattoos. So like you like visualize someone, you sort of like pick out the point straight away, and then would you sort of like try and
Yeah,
have material ready for it, or would you like just try and like improvise there and then?
I always prefer to know what I'm saying beforehand, so I'll always make notes. Obviously, with roast battles, it's usually you've got your phone in front of you, so I'll always pre-write them. And then the other one we always do is you also share information about your life and stuff, and get more details that way. So I think there was one when I did one down in Bristol. The bloke's favourite song was "Creep" by Radiohead. So you can just use the line like they wrote a song about you because it says "I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo" in it.
Okay, yeah. So you've got like like your basic Arsenal type that you can really shoot out. Because
Yeah,
I watched your, I watched for quite a new comic. You're quite good at crowd work already.
I prefer it personally because I then don't have to think about what I'm saying, if that
Okay.
makes sense. Like if I've got my preset, I've got like trigger words I try and hit. So I'll go hit that word, I can do that bit, hit that word, I can do that bit. Crowd work is just whatever enters your mouth first. So it's a lot easier for me. Like it's just like having a normal conversation with someone.
But the bit I find out because I enjoy crowd work, but it's something you can't really prepare for. It's just the experience. Because I
Yeah, no,
watched
it's
your
not one you can rehearse. Yeah.
because I watched your Gong show and the like you said, it all depends on the audience on the night, and that they weren't feeling it. I mean, tell me about a couple of times you've bombed and sort of like how you've got over it.
I've not really. Usually, my experience. So I've got a low bar to clear in terms of when I do stand up. So my bar is as long as I've got someone to laugh at some point during it, I don't mind it. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
it's not being completely wasted. But on the rare times it does happen, you just sort of think, was I prepared enough? Well, I just analyse it and go, was I prepared enough? Yes or no? Because if the answer is no, then it's your fucking fault for fucking it up, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and then you just go through and say, was the crowds? So, for example, like, I think older crowds tend to struggle with the concepts I speak about because, like, asexuality and LGBT stuff, they're not as clued up on as, say, younger audiences. So
Hmm.
it's a bit harder to win them round. But it's just like, end of the day, if I have a bad gig, I just get on the road, stick a song on that I like, and move on to the next one. It doesn't usually tend to bother me that much,
Yeah.
truth be told.
Okay. I mean, like, I bombed many times. Then probably more than I've been successful. I did one last Monday in Shoreditch, quite a left place, and I don't know why. I just first thing that comes to my head was I fucking hate the left. They made it so you can't laugh at fat people anymore. Not one single joke, not one cackle. You're like, fuck, I've lost them. I've lost them, and like
Yeah,
it's just like delivering a baby now. Like I've just got to pursue it. Got a couple of chuckles, but yeah, from the get go. But I saw you did where was the one, and I thought you absolutely killed it. Was it in the Cuban embassy?
yeah. That was near Birmingham. That one.
Right?
I think it was Crash Test Comedy. It's called that. That was an interesting one because to be fair, I lost my job on that Friday, so my mind was all over the fucking shop going into that. Truth be told, so I didn't know how that was going to go. I say the issue. The reason that one went really well, I think, is it was even though it was on a Sunday night, because it was a bank holiday, it turned into a Saturday night crowd. If that made sense.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of drunk people, a lot of people up for it. It didn't seem that for me. It didn't seem that hard to do. It was just go try and remember everything I could, and just yeah, like I say, if you've got a load of drunk people in the units, it's a lot easier to do crowd work because they're just going to shout shit anyway, and you just react to it.
Okay. And sort of like as I said, you've I saw your map on Instagram. That was pretty cool as well. Do you find that some like
Yeah,
comedy bangs in certain areas and it doesn't take off on the others? Like, would you try to adapt your set to your location?
I haven't done yet. Like I've not found like traveling around. I've not really found it doesn't work if that makes sense. Like it's rare. Like if something's funny, it's going to be. In my opinion, if something's funny, there's going to be at least a few people in the audience who are going to laugh at it. If that makes sense. It's not. I've not really tried to adapt it yet because I don't think I'm because I still struggle with trying to remember my actual set. So if I had something in the start about the town of Banbury before I go on stage there, I might remember the bit about Banbury, but then I'm going to forget the rest of my set. Is usually my problem. If that makes sense.
No, completely. My first ever one I ever did was Comedy Store, Gong Show. My first ever one I went on stage, and they gave me about a minute sympathy, and I just froze like a deer in the headlights. Like you think you know it until you're actually on the stage, and you know, yeah, it's a different beast altogether. But you got to respect anyone who does go on stage and perform in front of people. It is a form of courage.
100%. Like this is going to sound bad, but when I did the Frog and Bucket Goal show, I was bricking it before that. But the person who went on before me did exactly what you just said. Got up, froze, 30, because that one you don't get a grace period. So after 30 seconds, they voted him off. And then I was up next and thought, well, it can't be that bad. And instantly just relaxed.
You want the person before you to be shit, don't you?
Yeah, it sounds bad, but yeah, truth be told.
We're all in this together, but also fuck everyone else at the same time. But you want them to do well, but also you want every single tool to make yourself look better.
Yeah, as bad as it sounds.
So why did you get into comedy? What made you decide, fuck it, I'm going to go for it?
I don't know, truth be told. Like, it's something I've always had an interest in. I can't remember there was one at school where, like, I still don't know what I want to do. Now with sort of work-wise, but you have to talk with the careers advisor. And it just came up then where I just went I could give that a go. And they said, don't bother, because you're not going to make any money out of it. But yeah, so it's like, I was just drunk in a pub at one point last October looking for new hobbies to try. And then saw, I think there's a weekly open mic in Stoke. I think it's called Spitfire Comedy. That's every week. And I saw something on Facebook and messaged them for a slot. And they went, yeah, fuck it, give it a go. And then since then, just kept cracking on with it.
Okay. Pretty much. How do you find getting a stage time at the moment?
Not too bad. Like, I get early, like usually, like I say, that's once a week, so needs be. I can just fall back on doing there. But I sort of do like one or two a week at the minute, maybe three at a push. If I do more than three, I'm absolutely fucked in terms of how tired I get. Because usually from gigging, I'm getting back after 12, like most people, to be fair. Back late, and then I can't switch off after the game. I'm usually up till about 4 in the morning before I can sleep. Did one the other week where I was like 6:30. I got to sleep in the morning. Like it's still light. It got light outside. It was that early, like. But yeah, like you got all the forums and whatnot on Facebook. That's what I'm looking at the minute. I'm in about 50 of them.
Yeah.
So just apply for gigs and see what comes back.
So. What's it sort of like up north? Because I know in London is how is that? It's you've got to bring people with you. You've got to, do you know what I mean? Like bring a spot. I presume do they exist up north?
That doesn't exist up north, no. So anywhere you go, I've not encountered that anywhere personally right at the minute. Most of them are just turn up and go up. Like sometimes you get it where it's just a room of comedians, but chances are you'll get at least 5 to 10 audience members up there anyway. Most places, so yeah, it's not too bad.
Well, like the one I'm doing tonight, it's a low stakes one, and you're performing in front of about 12 other comedians. And what do you prefer, like a crowd that you don't know exists, or other comedians?
I don't mind it as long as I know no one else in there, if that makes sense. So if they don't know me or have not seen my stuff before, it's all right because I know the reaction I'm going to get is genuine.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Because usually unless the person who's on next, like whoever's on next is probably not following along because they're thinking of their own stuff, but everyone else will tend to sit, watch, and give a genuine reaction to something. So I personally don't mind if it's audience or comedians. So it hasn't really affected me either way, which way that goes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
As long as people are watching, they don't get a toss.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so who would you sort of say the people you watch in your spare time? Who would you like? Who are your favourite type of comedians?
I've got a few. So like Jim Jeffries is one I quite enjoy watching.
Okay, yep.
The Aussie, I think he lives in America, but he's Aussie. Frankie Boyle, quite like watching him.
Okay.
And a bit of a weird one compared to them two. John Robbins is the other one I quite enjoy.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm like Ryan Long. Bill Burr to me is the GOAT.
Oh yeah, Bill Burr, yeah.
So yeah, that's all like
He's good.
my ones. So when it comes to comedy, like obviously it all comes from like a funny place. No, not a funny place. So comedy comes across as funny, but it usually comes from a dark place. When you said you lost your job, was that sort of like I'm at the bottom now, so like let's go be a sad clown?
Not really, no, because like I said, that was only a few weeks. That was beginning of May, so it didn't really.
Okay.
I didn't really delve into that anymore. I did do a bit of material on it because I lost it in a weird scenario whereby I got caught on camera doing him. Do you know the film Ace Ventura?
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you know the bit where he talks from his arse?
Yeah.
I got caught on camera doing that.
Fair. What type of job was it?
It was a warehouse job doing stock control. Right. The issue is the job was too easy for me, so I was just basically arsing around, and they weren't too happy with it.
Literally, yeah. Literally arsing around. So.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's what's that thing? It's the joke's so good, HR want to hear it in first person.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of them. There's something else I said where I tried to defend it, and they just went, "Well, someone could have been offended, but the person I said it to wasn't."
Yeah.
So that made no fucking sense.
Well, that is the problem
The
with
person,
society, say, getting offended on other people's behalfs.
yeah, like I mean, like the person who said it to me openly went to HR and went, "There was nothing wrong with that."
Mm.
Like I can't even remember what I said, but there was nothing that bad. It just, but yeah, they said someone could have been offended, and that was that for them.
Pathetic, isn't it? Although in
Yeah.
comedy, do you think there's any topics that you can't laugh about, or do you think anything's on the table?
Personally, for me, it's as long as someone finds it funny, you can sort of defend it as a joke, if that makes sense. Like if you say something horrible and no one laughs, that's just you trying to be an offensive prick.
Yeah, agree.
Whereas if you can do it in such a way where it's funny,
Mm.
I personally don't see much of an issue with that,
Okay, no,
if that makes sense. So as long
no,
as it's funny, you can defend it.
I'm with you on that. I was thinking, it's where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Like, is that I've got a bit that I'm going to try out tonight, and I don't want it to come across racist, but I've just got back from Spain, and I drink black coffee. Now, black in Spanish is negro, and it was like, okay, trying to order one from a black barista in a Spanish shop was a bit of a struggle. So it's
Yeah,
sort of
well,
like,
yeah, yeah. Like if that's genuinely happened, then I see no issue with that because that is a funny scenario. That yeah,
you didn't go, yes, it's an awful tan, but yeah, just just got back from that. So where are we gigging tonight? Say it was up in.
up in Warrington tonight.
Okay. No, so you do about 2-3 times a week. What sort of effect does that have, sort of like with your family, things like that, like always being on the roads?
They couldn't give a shit, truth be told. Like I live at home with my dad, and as long as he knows, not even that, is like he's just like where you're off to tonight or what you're doing tonight. As long as he knows, he doesn't give a toss.
Okay, and how do you
So
find it around like the drink culture? Because most comedy places are in places where alcohol is.
yeah, I drink I drink heavily as it is, so it's like I just sort of make. That's why I like driving to gigs because I don't get drunk if I'm driving.
Mm.
It's not a good combination. I enjoy gigging in Manchester, but at the same time, Manchester I usually get the train to, and if I take a train, I am getting drunk at that gig.
You sort of like, yeah,
It's just
you know, like straight away, train equals alcohol.
yeah, yeah. I've had two before I've got to fucking Piccadilly, like usually. So I
It's
prefer
rude
to
not to
drive
have
a
a
gig
train
for
beer.
that reason. Yeah,
So,
better to drive.
so what would you say like your favourite thing and worst thing about comedy is? like getting on the stage?
Um, Favorite bit is when you've just done a good gig. Because I've not done like hardcore drugs, but I guarantee you the buzz you get off them is not the same after a good that you get after a good gig, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
Like, there's no better feeling in the world than going all out. I think the worst bit is just to travel. Like if you're driving down the M6 at the minute, it's always a pain in the ass because usually at one point it'll go down to one lane and people can't drive for shit. So
No,
you're stuck there for 30 minutes to an hour. So that's probably the worst bit, is just the driving. But you just stick a podcast on and hit the road. It's usually not too bad.
no, I agree. How do you find promoting yourself? Like you doing social media is the devil, but it's such a necessary tool nowadays. How do you find doing that?
I don't do a lot of self promotion, to be fair. I just post stuff, send stuff, and hope people find it. Basically,
Yeah.
like the easiest way to find on Instagram is if you do like if you go on there, you'll find a lot of like videos of me because Instagram reels by their nature are seen by more people.
Hmm.
Like, so I just post stuff and hope it gets found. Basically,
Yeah. Just okay.
I don't really do a lot of.
And so, well, how do you want to see yourself, like time frame progress? Like, are we going to get to the 20-minute set? Would you want to do Edinburgh Fringe one day? Like, how do you see this going for yourself?
I don't really know, to be honest, because truth be told, material wise, I've got. I don't know if you're the same. I think most comedians will be, but I've got a shit ton
Hmm.
that if I built in that if I spent enough time, I could build into a set and have an hour show. Probably for this Edinburgh, if I wanted to be that stupid, if we're being honest. But time wise, at the minute, I think let's just keep gigging. If I can pick up some paid gigs, at that point I might start thinking about doing an hour show. But till then, I'm just going to keep doing it and enjoy it.
Okay. Well, just I wish absolutely like the best of luck with you. I mean, I've watched your stuff. I think it's funny. I'm a person who doesn't laugh out loud, but a couple
Mm.
of yours did make me chuckle. Like so yeah, I applaud it. I'm looking forward to seeing where it takes it, and I'm gonna like yeah watch it closely. So yeah, Nikita, cheers for this. And
No worries.
yeah, I wish you best of luck with your gig tonight, dude.
Cheers. Nice one.
Yeah, that's it.